What's going on, everybody? So, when I tell you I have been sleeping in, I've been sleeping the fuck in. I mean, I'm literally talking sleeping until like 11 o'clock. That's crazy. Maybe I need to sleep. I don't know. Maybe I'm working too hard over here. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Okay. But I really want to get this dark psychology study week in. Because I was going to do it as soon as I got home to the cribbo. But I had to sleep. I took that shower, I went to sleep. And, I don't know. It's just something about this week. This has been an 11 o'clock week. And I actually woke up early today. I actually got up after 6, after 7. I thought it was after 6, but actually after 7. And I was like, damn, this is a good time to get into the show. And I ended up taking my ass right back to sleep. I was like, I don't know what the fuck going on, but something in my body needs to rest. Okay. And something in my body needs to find something too. I'll look a little later. But something in my body needs to rest. Hold on. Definitely gotta get that gingerbread coffee. Yeah, man. Gotta get the gingerbread coffee going. Probably mixing it up with a little bit of water. A little bit of water. I should have I should have took this straw out. I gotta let this melt. I should have took the straw out. Listen. I go into spaces that a lot of people say they don't go into. And what I do is when I go into these spaces, I observe what is it about them that's triggering? What about them riles me up? What do I feel when I'm in this space? So that's what I study. What do I feel? What do I analyze? What do I observe? What makes me want to just turn this off, right? And so I do that a lot. And I learned to cloud watch, and I learned to not talk too much, not get involved, not get too much information. I have my little ways that I practice, right? So lately, is a lady I've been listening to, and I've been cloud watching, but it was more of looking at the grandiosity of herself, how she feels some kind of self importance because of these problems that she's having with online people, not people in her real world. You see? Now let's get to it. So I did listen. We're gonna get into this book. Just give me a minute. Because it's been a while since I talked to y'all. I got into a zealot divested motherfucking show yesterday. Let me tell you. Okay? Let me go ahead and put this book up so we can get prepared. I got into it, and let me tell you, it was something. But there was a part in there that I felt the need to share. Okay? I felt the need that it was something. Let me find the clip first. And it stood out to me. What they were trying, what they were conveying.
I'm proud of us. We laid out very politely the difference between a swirler and a divester. These hoes in the chat mad at us because we dragging Serena, our fellow divester. She not divested. Nobody that's divested would do what she's been doing. Like, come on, now, that's a whole ass Mandy. That's
do you? A divester would have been on stage, sea walking with his.
Here's so here's a part in the vid where I didn't even know y'all could see me. Where thank you, Elo Lollipop. I remember you. Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back, man. Yeah, definitely. The content is back. So I want y'all to listen to this part here. Um, and yeah, this part stood out to me. I actually even skipped it, but I knew what was going on when I watched it, right? But check this out.
The thing, the men in your
So this is somebody that made a comment about Serena. I don't watch the Super Bowl. I don't watch any of it. Y'all know I'm a mentee. Y'all know I do occult codes and all that stuff like that. I get it. I know that, but we'll get into that story another time in my life. You understand what I'm saying? But when I tell you I have really walked away from the nigga community, I really have walked away from them. Okay. Like I said, one day I will tell the story. And here, listen. So I want y'all to listen to this part right here.
your community so fucking dusty that this clearly black male identified bitch had
This black male identified woman felt some kind of way about the fact that Serena was still sitting here, was dancing at this very, very black performance, but sleeping white.
to
Let's
step
go.
up out of the community. And there's such a shortage, right? That you, instead of getting you one, sitting up here eating on black cat. I'm looking at the chat. Don't fuck around, okay? A lot of these bitches done resorted to eating each other's motherfucking box because they asses don't want to date out.
That right there is manipulation, abusive, and dark psychology. Okay? Now, this is a part of where I talk about being dyke vested. Yes, dyke vested. And that's going to come up a little later, but that is something I do talk about because here's the thing that you have to understand about the agenda. See, you think that I'm a divested woman, right? So I don't deal with black culture, black males, right? So here you are with the woman. So the way their brain thinking is that you think being with a woman makes you divested from him. That's not what the same thing is. Because you can have women that, because see, you got to understand something about their agenda. Okay. First of all, they're very male centered, they're anti black, they're black Hitlers. Let's put number one. These zealot divestors are black Hitlers. Okay. Again, I don't have a problem with any of them. I literally don't. They don't fuck with me. I get it. I don't have a problem with any of them. My thing is they're black Hitlers. So their agenda is that they don't want black women making children with anything that is conceived to be black. It has to be non-black. So Hispanic is considered as black. Latin is considered as black. It has to be on the other side. It has to be European. It has to be French. It has to be Polish. Those are the niggas of the white people. Jewish. Those are the niggas of the white people. It has to be over there. It has to be non-fucking black. And what happens with them is if you are still going to be with something that is a woman, because if you go and be with a woman and she's non-black, then you're a true divested woman, though we know they're male centered, so they're against women being together with other women, period. Right? We know that already. But this right here to them is like you're still going to have some kind of sympathy for the black male because you're sitting here with this black stud woman or black masculine woman. And I think they look great together. They look very much in love. Okay. But my thing is that part. Now, when I felt like skipping this part, I was like, well, am I offended? Am I offended? I was like, I don't think it's so much that I'm offended. It's the male centeredness that got me upset. All right. It was the male centered of it all. But I know, but that's what they are. Because it's like, yeah, you saying that she's a swirler, she's not a divester, but you still attacked a black woman for attacking her who's with pretty much a stud black woman. So do you see how it all works? So this is why I say, to be a true zealot divester, you are truly a black Hitler. Point blank, period. Because at the end of the day, even if she is, see, when I don't have to have the rule book. I already see the rule book. You can see the rule book by just watching and listening to these people of what is defined to be a zealot divester. They have to do things to trigger and make you upset, no matter how it is. Anything that deals with blackness, even if it's using Serena to attack you, that's what they gonna do. Okay? They're going to use NPL. They're going to use words like roast infestant. Gotta be careful saying monkey. You understand? But even roast infested is worse than goddamn monkey, if you ask me. I'd rather be called the monkey than roach. That's just me. But also, if you identify with blackness, the more you're going to get offended. And they also offend black spirituality, because we know this woman is atheist. We know that Hitler was also atheist. Did y'all know that? Yes, Hitler was also an atheist. So she don't identify with nothing or believe in nothing in spirituality. That is where the power is in the zealot divested work. Okay. Another thing too, the dark psychology of it is, you women can't get a decent man, so you go and resort to coochie. When we know that people have sexualities, when people have sexual preferences, when you have women who, are not male, or have these decentered males, because decentered women who decenter men doesn't mean they're not with men, but you get what I'm saying. We know that people just simply have sexualities and sexual preference. It's just that simple. So I'm wanting you to not get yourself caught up in their dark psychology. Okay. But what we're going to do now, while I have a little time, I have time, I'm going to go ahead and sip my coffee, and we're going to get into dark psychology 101. And we're going to use this very thing right here. I'm aware of what kind of audience I have here. A lot of these women in my audience, I pretty much know who y'all are. I don't have no woman in this audience has ever expressed that they're even married. Okay. If you are, speak now. But I don't have nobody. And even if you are married, you're not married to a male, right? So yeah. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into this dark psychology. I'm going to get into the introduction. I'm going to drop the link just in case any of you, so you can just have it for yourself. I also ask all of you to get a notebook. If you can get a college notebook, and you can like separate it, and you can make a section in the back called the burn book, which the thing about your burn book is you're not supposed to take it outside, but this other book you can take it outside. And so therefore, with this particular notebook, you're taking these notes together. We're taking these notes. I gotta get my book in a minute. And then also the burn book is the people in your personal world, where you play chess with the people in your world and start, writing down them and whatever, and yourself and stuff like that. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get into it. You want to go ahead and get into the very first chapter. This is The Secrets of Dark Psychology and Mind Control. This is from Audiobook Visions. We have been living on Audiobook Vision. Shout out to Audiobook Vision. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into this right now. Let's go. After this commercial, I'm sure. You go ahead, put my banners up.
Dalpad's AI
discovered and losing the other person for good.
Wait.
A so-called friend might also make use of CE.
Right, so what's gonna happen is it's gonna be pausing and going back and going back. We're gonna be dissecting this intro.
Dark Psychology 101. Learn the secrets of covert emotional manipulation, dark persuasion, undetected mind control, mind games, deception, hypnosis.
Okay, he's listing it out. Convert narcissism. Did y'all catch that? That was a little fast. We're going to put the subtitles in. I don't know how to rewind this motherfucking shit. God damn it. Let's go.
Hypnotism, brainwashing, and
Brainwash.
other tricks of the trade.
Yes.
By
I'm going to list out in the chat room the main 40 tactics of dark psychology. He might mention them, he might not, but I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the chat room for you right now. Let's go.
Michael Pace. Introduction. Welcome to the world's most powerful psychology book. What is dark psychology? They say that knowledge is power. Well, if knowledge is power, then having knowledge of human psychology is the equivalent of having superpowers. Psychology, the understanding of the human mind and the way it works, is a topic central to the existence of mankind.
Understanding the human mind and the way that it works. Okay? Understanding the human mind and the way that it works. And then we had a case study right here.
Psychology underpins everything from advertising to finance, crime to religion, and love to hate. Someone who understands psychological principles holds the key to human influence, a key few other people possess.
Crime to religion, love to hate. He's talking pretty, but I'm catching everything he's saying. So we have a book. We have a glimpse into dissecting, understanding, and studying the dark psychology of other people, and most of all, the dark psychology of ourselves.
Obtaining psychological knowledge is often a difficult task. Like all of mankind's most advanced secrets, psychological knowledge is buried deep within the pages of dense journals and kept out of the reach of the general public. To distill this powerful information into a useful form would require someone to delve through countless books and journals, attempting to separate the useful from the useless. That very process has been completed. You are reading a cutting-edge distillation of some of the most powerful principles in the world of psychology. You don't need any special understanding to benefit from this book, just a willingness to learn, reflect, and apply your new knowledge. The book you now possess offers an insight into a hidden world that few people know exists and even fewer understand. The world of dark psychology. These are the principles and tactics used by the most powerful influencers the world has ever known. You have a ticket to explore some of human history's most devious minds and the diabolical ideas they devised. Not only will you be offered insight into the principles underpinning what essentially amounts to psychological black magic.
Psychological black magic. Do you understand that what Hitler did was psychological black magic? Do you understand what these zealot divestors are doing are psychological black magic? Do you understand that? When somebody is saying to you, because we're going to use that same example I just showed you. When somebody is saying to you, the reason you are with, because see, this is the double entendre about the shit. When someone's telling you, you went to go be with a woman because you couldn't get a good black male, that's not only male-centered homophobic shit, but they're also using the black male's tactic to attack you. Did you not catch the black magic in that shit? Or the mental and I can't even call that gaslighting. That was some real reverse psychology shit that they just did there. All right, let's get back to the book.
You will be shown the ways the principles are actually applied. And that's not all. Real-life case studies are offered so you can understand these ideas by seeing clearly how they have been used throughout history. Why you need to understand dark psychology. Dark psychology is at work in the world. You might not like this fact, but you can't change it.
Nope.
So you have a choice: either try to remain ignorant of something powerful and risk becoming its next victim, or take control of your situation and learn to protect yourself and those you love from people who would ruin you through their ruthless psychological exploitation. Understanding dark psychology is not only a defensive measure. There are ideas and principles contained within the world of dark psychology that can help you get ahead in your personal and professional endeavors. No one is asking you to become a psychopath, but surely you could use a little more power in your day-to-day life. With great power comes great responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility. He said, no one's asking you to become a psychopath, but I wish I could. I've been saying that all week. I said, I wish I had the non-emotional capacity of a fucking psychopath. And maybe if that's what I accomplish right now on this show while presenting dark psychology for myself and for yourself, I will be very proud of my motherfucking self. Because you gotta understand, I can pull out a book on demonology all day. I can pull out Bible verses all fucking day. But that shit ain't gonna never make you responsible for what you attracted in your own life and doing your own self-reflection the way that you need to do it. I don't do that here. No one is your savior. No one's coming to fucking save you. Therefore, we're reading these type of books to uncrack ourselves as well as know people. Truly get to know people the way we need to get to know them so we can navigate this world far more smarter. Even if you go out here and you are a spiritual practitioner, you still need dark psychology, because I need to tell you something. When you get to a point, you got to put motherfuckers' name on a piece of paper and oils and shit and throw them in freezers and freeze people and all this kind of shit. You are also holding yourself back, and that's not warrior behavior. You understand? Especially in this world of pettiness, you know what I mean? That's the problem that I have with America and magic and shit. But that's another topic. Let's get back to it.
How you use this book is up to you. It can be the most powerful defensive tome you've ever come across, or a weapon used to give you an
go back.
And those you love, from people who would ruin you through their ruthless psychological exploitation.
That's right.
Understanding dark psychology is not only a defensive measure. There are ideas and principles contained within the world of dark psychology that can help you get ahead in your personal and professional endeavors. No one is asking you to become a psychopath, but surely you could use a little more power in your day-to-day life. With great power comes great responsibility. How you use this book is up to you. It can be the most powerful defensive tome you've ever come across, or a weapon used to give you an advantage in life. The ideas and examples contained in these pages are simply tools. Use them to build whatever you desire. This book is not for the faint of heart or the weak of mind.
Nope.
Once you have lifted the curtain on the world of dark psychology, there is no going back.
No.
You will have an understanding of human nature that few have ever obtained. With great power comes great responsibility. You have been warned. Chapter 1.
With great power comes great responsibility. Okay? With great power comes with great responsibility. Because trust me, I need you to listen to me very closely. If it wasn't true, what these divestors are saying, they wouldn't have the content to keep doing what they do. Do you get what I'm saying? If what they're saying does not hold truth, they couldn't do it. But another way in which you're being abused by divestors, because they are the case study for this dark psychology segment right now, is they are going to take the same, because this is in the book, The Art of Manipulation. They're going to take the very same people that they hate, which is the black male. But they do know the black male because they still are black women. And they're going to take his abuse to abuse you, which is the black woman. Because this is still the black woman's guide, okay? Don't think this dark psychology study week is still the black woman's guide. So they're using him to abuse you. by using his talking points. Do you see how psychologically that can get to you? Do you see how psychologically that can hurt you or even maybe break you or make you cry? I'm very convinced that this Zealot divested is some kind of water energy is in her chart, possibly Cancer. Understand? It could be, I don't think Pisces, no. Possibly a Cancerian type of energy is there, fire, water energy. So therefore, if that's the case, she's going to do things to try to make you cry. Okay? So pay attention to that.
Covert emotional manipulation. What is covert emotional manipulation?
Covert.
It is no coincidence that covert emotional manipulation, also known as CEM,
Write
is
that
featured
down.
first in this book. Many of the dark psychology tactics you will come across make use of this type of emotional manipulation in one way or the other. As you learn more about the world of dark psychology and its various manifestations, you will recognize signs of CEM. Understanding exact.
This is what you have to do when you're dissecting Ely Lollipop. You know, I always call you that. So Lollipop, seriously, we're going to get into the mind of sociopaths, psychopaths. That's going to be the next step, but I'm walking everybody into it. You know, that's mentioned in dark psychology anyway. I don't even think I have to walk y'all into it. So make sure y'all have your notebook ready. Now we're talking about covert emotional manipulation. Okay, let's look at something else. Okay, let's go back to that video real quick before we get to this part. Okay, remember, this is a whole lesson. This is a whole lesson, whiteboard lesson. I'll eventually have to get a whiteboard and really do this shit. But check it out. I still think this is a beautiful picture because that's just me. I just think this is a beautiful picture. You have to understand that this zealot divester is the product of the semen warfare of a white male, right? We don't know her partner, but we know for sure that it is a white male, correct? All right. So if we do understand the nature of the white male, and hold on, the white female, mixed with this being a black woman, right? We're going to get into the whole psychology of the zealot divestors. Now, I've been listening long enough to know that the Aaliyah chick claims, okay, is that a wit meaning weight? The Aaliyah chick says that she's a metalhead, okay? She's come out and said that she was a metalhead. And the other girl, she sounds like the Apple Snapple girl sounds like she probably from DC somewhere, the DMV. Even her accent gives me DMV, okay? So they already have a sophisticated black culture, if that's where she's from, okay? So you have to understand the main personalities that are going to be here, but we have to look at the queen of the personalities, and that is right there. You have the zealot divested, right, lady? So let's get back to it, because there is deep covert emotional manipulation that is going on. Let's get to it.
Exactly what CEM consists of is therefore a vital first step in understanding dark psychology. Covert emotional manipulation is the attempt by one person to influence the thoughts and feelings of another in an underhand way that is undetected by the person being manipulated.
Yes.
Breaking down each of the 3 words in the title is a great way to get a handle on this foundational idea. Covert refers to the way some manipulators are able to hide their intentions and the true nature of their actions. Not all emotional manipulation and influence can be categorized as covert. Victims of the covert type, however, will typically not know they have been manipulated, not understand the way manipulation has been carried out, and not even be able to guess at the motivation of their manipulator. CEM is a dark psychological stealth bomber, avoiding detection and defense until it is too late. The emotional side of the manipulation refers to the specific focus of the manipulator.
Covert emotional, CEM, write that down. Covert emotional manipulation. If anybody, I'm going to find something, okay? Convert emotional manipulation, okay? This is why I wanted to wake up early in the morning and do this show. Okay. How can you get covertly emotionally manipulated? Let's talk about it. How can that happen? You have to already be emotionally fucked up already. Like that fucked up, but you have to be emotionally involved with the person in order for them to covertly emotionally manipulate you. Your mother, your father, even a step parent can covertly emotionally manipulate you, right? We can't, that's one of the biggest manipulations we can't get away from unless we pay attention hard enough, right? Convert emotional manipulation, your partner can do that to you, right? I.e., husband, wife, whatever the fuck you got going on. Even if you're just in a relationship, you can covertly emotionally be manipulated. If you are in a depressed state, emotionally depressed state, you damn sure definitely can get covertly emotionally manipulated by someone that's even on fucking line that you don't even fucking know. So a part of this is also checking yourself. Your bestie can do it to you. So this is when you have to be emotionally and mentally strong enough to not get emotionally manipulated covertly. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that is the fact that this is the first thing that he is talking about is confirming the very thing I was just talking about from the case study of those zealot divestors.
Other types of possible manipulation include people's behaviors, beliefs, and willpower. CEM focuses specifically on impacting a person's emotional state and reality. Many manipulators focus in on this area of influence as they know a person's emotions are the key to all other aspects of their personality. Manipulating someone's emotions is like slicing their jugular vein. If a person has emotional control, they have full control. The final piece of this puzzle is the term manipulation.
He said, it's like slicing a jugular vein. Look up your jugular vein. He said, it's like slicing your jugular vein if someone can manipulate you like that. Isn't that your throat? Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I'm here. Your jugular vein are major blood vessels that stretch from your head to your upper chest. Yeah, that's your jugular vein. That's some deep shit. From your head to your upper chest. Because that's like damn near your heart chakra. So your mind and your heart. Okay, I like that. See? So it's like they're slicing your mind and your heart. But he said the key word is manipulation. Let's see what he says about it.
It is a common misunderstanding that influence and manipulation are the same thing.
Okay.
This is not the case.
Pay attention to that. He's been saying that throughout all his books. Michael Page says that being an influencer and a manipulator is not the same thing. But we're going to get into that on our own. But they're saying in the book that to be an influencer and a manipulator, it is not the same thing. It's the same thing that they say to y'all in the zealot divested spaces. Being a swirler and a divester is not the same thing, right? So let's go.
Manipulation refers to the underhand and hidden process of influence that takes place outside the awareness of the person being controlled. The intention behind influencing someone as opposed to the intention behind manipulating them is another key difference. An influencer has the mindset of, I would like to help you make decisions that are good for you. A manipulator has the mentality of, I want to secretly control you to benefit myself.
The influencer is, I would like to help you in your life, right? I'm paraphrasing. While the manipulator's intention is, I want you to do what benefits for me. So that's a little tricky. That's a little slippery slope of a line. So we can go into a debate on that one, right? So can't the influencer still be a manipulator? But let's just see where they go with that throughout these books.
Therefore, understanding the intention behind any given behavior is in large part deciding whether it is an example of covert emotional manipulation or not. Now you have an overview of exactly what covert emotional manipulation is and how it differs from other forms of influence and control. The most likely situations to find covert emotional manipulation taking place will now be explored, as well as the main types of manipulative characters that occur time and time again. Situations and manipulators. Broadly speaking, there are 4 primary scenarios in which covert emotional manipulation can take place. These are the professional, personal, romantic, and family spheres of life. Romantic covert emotional manipulation is perhaps the most common scenario and can also be the most deadly. Less obvious.
Why did he start off with romantic? I said your parents, right? I think that was the obvious one. My bad, baby. I think that was the obvious one, right? I think I actually went down. I said friends before I even said a lover, right? Romantic. No, I did say romantic. Then I said the bestie thing, right? Yeah. So let's get into it. So it's interesting. That's the first thing he mentioned. Let's go.
Forms of CEM can be found almost anywhere, though. Once you understand the concept and the practical applications of it, you will be able to guard against it, no matter what situation you find yourself in. Just as there are common scenarios in which covert emotional manipulation can occur, there are common types of people who manifest the ideas underpinning CEM. Being able to link the theory of CEM to actual, personal portrayals of its ideas is an essential aspect of understanding it fully. A controlling romantic partner is a common personal portrayal of the principles of CEM. If someone is in a relationship, and their partner is obviously trying to control them, the person is likely to be disgusted by what is happening and is looking to find a way out of the situation. For this reason, many controlling partners exercise their influence in the most covert way possible. Their girlfriend or wife ends up being a victim to total emotional manipulation without ever realizing it is taking place. This grants the manipulator the control they desire without any of the risks of being discovered and losing the other person for good. A so-called friend might also make use of CEM to get the outcome they want out of their relationship with another person. In this specific group, one of the most common types of manipulator is someone who covertly induces in a friend the feelings of guilt, sympathy, and obligation toward them. The friend who is being manipulated in this way will be unaware.
Sympathy, guilt, obligation. Write that down. Okay, let's get these words down. Sympathy. By the way, I don't write in all caps unless it's the anagram. Okay. I think it's better written this way than like if I'm writing on the board, right? Let's get to it. Sympathy, guilt, and obligation. Let's break down these words. Let me see what this comment is. Makes sense. He is mentioning romantic love first. A lot of people tend to be blinded by sex or romance to notice the manipulation. Oh yeah, this is why this is where you have to come in and check yourself. This is where you have to realize attractions and patterns in how people come in and how they do it and stuff like that. Right? Because let's go ahead and get into that part. So I have moved so the microphone is sounding different, right? I know. Excuse me. So let's get into that part. So when we get into that part, right? You have to first realize, how did this person come into my life? Where did this person come from? What made me trust this person? What made me like this person? What was I going through in my life at the time that this person was able to come into my life? Okay? Get what I'm saying? This is why we're writing this stuff down. Now let's get into sympathy, guilt, and obligation just from that comment alone, right? Because you said people pretend to be blinded by sex and romance to notice the manipulation. Well, sex is where people try to pull a wool over your eyes any fucking way. Sex is where the absolute manipulative magic is done. Okay. Yeah. So let's get into sympathy, guilt, and obligation. Sympathy comes in where you see somebody that you care about. Okay, let's make this clear. You care about them, right? So you feel like, I hate that they have this kind of friend, and I hate to see them go through this with their family, and I hate that they've experienced this. Maybe you know something personal about their life. Maybe their family members on drugs or something like that, or they came from something, whatever have you, right? That's where the sympathy comes in. That's where the emotions come in. I'm sure the book's going to get into it more, but let's just talk about it. Guilt. A lot of times you may not realize that you have a guiltiness of, because of the sympathy causes the guilt. Well, this person is, I've been with them and they've been going through this and that, and I've been there for them, and they've been there for me. They've done for me. They've been here. We've done this together. You put all this sympathy, all these things that you are adding up to yourself. So then you feel guilty if you don't want to talk to them on the phone. You feel guilty if you don't want to see them. You feel guilty if you say no to them because of that sympathy. And then all that sympathy and guilt all together creates the obligation. Sympathy plus guilt equals obligation, pretty much. That's what it is. When you feel sympathy, then you begin to feel that guilt. It equals you feel obligated to this person. And that obligation word is a very tricky one, right? Because nobody is obligated to nobody. If you don't want to go to the funeral, you ain't obligated to go to the funeral. If you say no to somebody, you're not obligated to say yes. This is the convert emotional manipulation of it in Southern hospitality too.
Aware that they are being influenced. They will not be able to explain why they feel and behave the way they do toward their friend, the manipulator. The professional domain is another common playground for covert emotional manipulators. Countless people have stories of having worked for a boss or other person of authority who seem to trigger mysterious feelings of guilt, fear, or duty in them. People who have been manipulated in this way could never identify why these feelings exist or where they come from. Family contexts are some of the most problematic within the world of CEM. A skilled manipulator who is able to find a victim within their own family is likely to be very dangerous in terms of the influence they can exercise. This is due to the fact that CEM is a powerful technique even when the manipulator and victim have no genuinely deep connection to each other. When the genuine connection of blood relation is added into the mix, the level of control and influence can increase exponentially. Why are family situations so suited to the use of CEM? Simply put, people already feel a level of social obligation to help people out in their own family and go the extra mile to ensure their needs are attended to. This existing predisposition toward influence is added to by the covert emotional manipulative practices, and the outcome is a very malleable victim. So how exactly do covert emotional manipulators manage to instill such levels of control over their victims? They have a range of tactics that are hard to detect and even harder to resist. Read on to discover the secrets of the covert emotional manipulators. Covert manipulation methods. You now know exactly what covert emotional manipulation is and is not, and the types of situations it can occur in. This is a good foundational understanding of the topic, but it is also important to recognize some of the specific tactics used by manipulators in their pursuit of control. The entire purpose of this type of emotional manipulation is to keep it as undetected as possible. This section aims to blow this secret world wide open for all to understand. Love bombing. Love bombing is a technique typically used by emotional manipulators at the start of their interaction with a victim. It involves the intense, sudden, and forceful display of positive feelings toward a victim. This may seem counterintuitive at first. If a person is trying to harm someone, why do they act so intensively positive at first? Because it serves their own objectives. The theory behind love bombing is it creates an intense feeling of trust, affection.
Oh, a manipulator. I want y'all to, because we're going to get into the love bombing. You need to understand a manipulator knows who they are truly manipulating and who's playing along with them. Okay, I'm speaking this from experience. They know when it's real and they got somebody hooked to what they want to versus somebody who got them hooked. Get what I'm saying? So let's get into this love. Let's get into the love bombing. All right. Here's the thing about that love bombing shit. Let me check this microphone 1 second. The one thing about that love bombing shit is that this is where you gotta check yourself, right? This is where you have to pay attention to. Do you need someone to talk to you sweet, talk to you nice? The word nice means dumb, by the way. You know, talk to you romantic and seductive and shit. Do you need all that? Do you need someone to, 1 second. Do you need somebody that, 1 second, y'all. God damn it. Hold on.
And compliance from a victim to their manipulator. The extent to which love bombing is used, and the people it is used on, depends upon the manipulator's assessment of the situation. A victim who is lonely, desperate, and seeking support and comfort is likely to be love bombed more intensely and overtly as the manipulator feels they will be receptive to it. Similarly, a more grounded victim will require a less intense and more subtle onslaught of positivity. Two important lessons about CEM can be learned from the description of the love bombing technique. First, it illustrates perfectly the covert nature of CEM. Imagine trying to recognize love bombing as something negative. Well, this person was really nice to me and made me feel really good. Such a statement is unlikely to trigger any red flags or warning signs of abuse taking place. This is a textbook illustration of how something with a negative outcome can be disguised as something positive. The second general lesson related to CEM we can learn from understanding love bombing is how CEM is calibrated to the unique situation each target presents. Experienced manipulators will have covertly controlled many people in their past and will have learned from each experience. They therefore know the right intensity and timing of any given CEM technique in any given situation. For example, everyone responds differently to various loving gestures. Compliments work well on some, while gifts have more of an effect on others. If someone who was not experienced within the field of CEM attempted to love bomb a target, it is unlikely they would have much success in doing so. This is because it requires an understanding of the precise extent to which a victim will respond to certain techniques and not others. Just as a doctor is able to prescribe the right cure in the right dose, the dark manipulator is able to use the right manipulation in the right amount. Reinforcement. A CEM stacked sequence. Intermittent positive reinforcement is a technique that often follows love bombing chronologically. It is a way of controlling a victim without them realizing what is occurring. The typical sequence of a textbook CEM scenario involves love bombing, followed by positive reinforcement, followed by intermittent positive reinforcement. The reason for this sequence will now be made clear.
You know what else is love bombing you? Flattery. Don't be impressed by flattery. When you got up today to look good and smell good and get your hair, nails, and motherfucking shit done, you don't need nobody telling you how good. You know you look good. You know, for common courtesy, you nod your head. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. No, don't say thanks. Thanks is such the rudest shit you could say. Okay? You don't be impressed by that. Right? I don't know how to tell y'all this. Like I said, I don't smile and I don't laugh. Like that's really literally how I live in real life. And I tell y'all all the time, ever since my grandma died, I ain't been the same. There's only certain people in my life can make me smile and laugh to that capacity. That's why when I do smile and laugh, everybody looks like she's smiling and laughing because I don't smile and laugh. Very serious person. Now, the love bombing is also flattery. You can't be moved by flattery. Okay? You have to be a woman of the mind, not the woman of not. You got to be a woman of the mind, not the woman of the body. You get what I'm saying? That's the key.
Love bombing is the unconditional, unearned, and intense display of positivity from a manipulator to their target in the earliest days of their interaction. It has the purpose of softening up a victim's defenses, increasing their reliance on the person manipulating them, and setting the frame of a positive relationship, friendship, or whatever other form the interaction takes. The next step after love bombing is often positive reinforcement. This is a switch of behavior in which the manipulator no longer displays relentless, unconditional positivity toward their victim. Instead, the manipulator withholds any positivity whatsoever until a time when the victim is performing a desired behavior. So, for example, if the manipulator wants their victim to call them frequently, the manipulator will only show a positive response when this happens. The victim will be unaware that positive attention is being used strategically against them, but will subconsciously comply with the wishes of the manipulator to experience the good feelings on offer. This predictable positive reinforcement is then replaced by intermittent positive reinforcement, or IPR. IPR involves the withholding of expressions of positivity, even when a desired behavior is displayed. For example, if the manipulator wants their victim to offer to buy them things, and the victim complies, the manipulator will only reward this desired behavior with a positive emotional response some of the time. This unpredictability causes a deep, subconscious craving for positive attention on behalf of the victim, without the victim ever having conscious knowledge of what is happening. The victim will then begin to chase a good reaction from the manipulator by any means possible. The manipulator has their victim behaving in a certain way, and the victim will have no awareness whatsoever of what they are doing or why they are doing it. The preceding sequential technique of love bombing, positive reinforcement, and finally intermittent positive reinforcement illustrates one way a covert emotional manipulator can deploy positive expression and cold withdrawal to sculpt the emotional response of their victims. Reality denial is a CEM technique that initially impacts upon the mind, rather than the emotions, of the victim. The consequences, however, can devastate a victim's.
I'm going to tell you another form of love bombing that I want you all to be careful, because I can't say the word bombing. I didn't know that, but here we go. Love booming. Okay. Listen, for those of you that got friends, for those of you that have relationships, you know, the ones where y'all trust each other, you know, the ones where you talk about sex together, you know, the ones where you show videos of each other naked and shit like that, you know, them kind of friendships. Yeah. Because them kind of friendships exist out here. Anybody who is showing you them fucking somebody else, sucking somebody else, licking somebody else, naked pictures and shit like that, they have walked you into manipulation. And what they're going to do is, after they do that with you, they're going to start dropping emotional. See, when somebody is giving you too much, because, you know, it takes time before people build that kind of friendship with people, okay? Because I've had friends like that, believe it or not. What happens is, now what they're going to do is they're going to start dumping emotionally on you. I've been through this as a kid, and this and that happened to me, and da 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 da. They got all this sympathy story going on. That's love bombing, y'all. I want y'all to write that down. Everything I just said. Believe it or not, because love bombing is flattery. That's flattery. That's love bombing. I let you see me naked. Now I'm dumping all my emotions on you. Now I can covertly, emotionally manipulate you. So when I need you, what was the two things? What was the main things that we said? Plus what? Plus what? It was goddamn Sympathy, guilt, and obligation. Sympathy, guilt, and obligation. Sympathy plus guilt equals you are obligated to me. So that's how the covertly emotional manipulation happens to you when you are not careful. Okay? So write that down.
Emotions, as you are about to see. Reality denial. One of the most terrifying experiences a human can endure is the feeling of losing their own sanity. This is bad enough if it can be explained by something understandable, such as mental illness or the temporary byproduct of stress, but is even more unsettling if the feeling of insanity has been covertly induced by an emotional manipulator. Reality denial refers to a range of CEM techniques that all have the same purpose: destroying a victim's sanity to serve the manipulator's own selfish aims. The ways reality denial takes place, and its impact, will now be explored in greater detail. One of the main principles underpinning reality denial is graduality. Manipulators are unlikely to instantly aim for the total destruction of a victim's sanity, as such an outcome is almost impossible to achieve without being detected. Instead, skilled manipulators tend to take the slowly but surely approach. This involves the gradual erosion of a person's sanity until their trust in their own faculties is standing upon the flimsiest of foundations. So how does a covert manipulator begin the process of eroding a victim's sanity? It often starts with the small-scale undermining of a victim's confidence in their own memory. The manipulator will engineer various situations in which a victim is left.
I had this situation happen to me. Well, the person thought they did. See, I had to play chess because I knew, and I wasn't. One thing I don't try to get into is a witch war with a loser. Okay? You don't want to get in any battle with a weak snake or a loser. I've learned that very early in life. They're the worst people to battle with. I promise you. And I'll never forget that quote from that damn YouTube series. He said, "You don't want to fight a weak snake. That's the worst kind of snake." Okay? Now, the first thing she did was telling me I had a false sense of confidence and all this kind of shit. And I just started smoking my weed and I'm just watching and I'm just listening and I'm like, where's she going with this? Okay. So then eventually she started to tell me, oh, I was talking to her. I wasn't talking to you and this, that, and the third. And I let her have everything that she can have, emotion. I let her have it all. I even went off and exploded on the other bitch, but I was talking to her too. You see how it goes? And then what happened is, hold on. Oh, shoot. I'm going to watch this on my replay, finish writing my notes. Just want to say I'm glad an intellectual like you are back on YouTube again. Thank you, Lollipop. I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, because I know you always have great commentary. So I look very forward to you joining in. You know what I mean? So this person, right? And eventually I got the fuck away from them in my own kind of way. And the way I kind of hit them with the bomb was like, look, I have a standard on my page of creative and artist. And if you don't meet that standard, you don't meet that look, I'm going to have to remove you. It's not personal. And she was one of those people along with those other bitch that was with her. So I had to move like a snake. Because you're not going to try to bend my reality about myself. Because when I wrote her that email, I slipped that to her. I was like, copy and confidence is the same thing. And then I was like, sometimes I feel like I ain't shit. Da, da, da. Y'all know how I get with my self-loathing shit. But she don't know me. See what I'm saying? So that wasn't nothing for me. So what I'm saying too is you have to pay attention to people who, you got to pay attention to people's whispers. Okay? That's a part of reality denial. You have to pay attention to people's, because once you begin to understand what a manipulator is, people become very obvious to you. But even if somebody is very obvious, then you have to start moving accordingly to how obvious they're moving. Some people you have to just, it sounds crazy, but you have to let them believe that they got you. You see what I'm saying? Before they realize that they don't, or you never let them see it. And it depends on what's the situation in life. You understand? Like, I'm just saying. That's a whole topic alone in itself.
Questioning their own recollection of events.
Listen.
The manipulator will always ensure that their own portrayal of what really happened is the one that ends up seeming the most credible. This process of minor confidence erosion actually serves two covertly manipulative purposes simultaneously. First, it reduces the victim's trust in their own powers of recall and understanding. Second, this trust is transferred onto the manipulator instead. It is important to note that this will never seem like a big deal at first. The manipulator will simply come across as the person with the slightly better memory. The victim.
CASA is in the business of changing lives. We do that through affordable housing development and property management. We create these opportunities through partnerships to create housing for individuals that are homeless and those at risk of becoming homeless.
CASA focuses on those that experience barriers when looking for housing, which can include veterans, individuals and families that are fleeing domestic violence, those that are homeless, those that are experiencing homelessness, those that are disabled, and those that are non-disabled. And those that have just experienced a lot of barriers when trying to find affordable housing. We see daily.
The victim will even be thankful they have someone whose recollection they can rely on. Over time, the covert emotional manipulator will increase the severity of the events they make the victim question. What starts as seemingly harmless and insignificant will be amplified into a victim losing all confidence in their own cognitive powers. The most insidious element of this process is the victim's tendency to blame their own mind for the loss of ability. Skilled manipulators will also be the ones pulling the strings but never, ever letting the victim become aware of what is really taking place. Chapter 2. Dark Persuasion. Persuasion. The dark side. Persuasion is a topic that is written and talked about a lot. A large number of articles and books exist to help people become more persuasive. Does this mean that every persuasive person is a dark manipulator? Far from it. There is a definite distinction between persuasion and dark persuasion. Any attempt by someone to influence a person to do something can be seen as persuasion. There are many legitimate uses of persuasion that are anything but dark psychology. If a negotiator persuades a terrorist to let some hostages go, or a police officer talks a suicidal person down from a ledge, persuasion has taken place. This type of persuasion can be understood as positive persuasion. So what exactly would qualify persuasion as dark? The DNA of dark persuasion. The first difference between dark and positive persuasion is the motive. Positive persuasion is only used to encourage someone to do something that won't harm them. The example of the negotiator shows that positive persuasion can even save lives. The motive for dark persuasion is vastly different. Dark persuasion lacks any form of moral motive. The motive is instead sometimes amoral and mostly immoral. If positive persuasion can be understood as helping people help themselves, dark persuasion can be viewed as the process of making people act against their own self-interest. Sometimes people will do so begrudgingly, aware that they may not be making the best choice, but eager to stop the incessant persuasion efforts. Other times, the best dark persuaders will be able to make someone think they are acting wisely, when in reality they are doing the exact opposite. So what are the main motivations for dark persuaders? It depends upon the type of individual doing the persuading. Some people seek to persuade others to serve their own self-interests. Others act through the sole malicious intention of pure harm. They may not benefit by darkly persuading someone, but they do so anyway, purely for the purpose of inflicting pain upon their victim. Others enjoy the sense of control that dark persuasion provides them with. The outcome of dark persuasion also differs from positive persuasion. Positive persuasion will typically result in one of three scenarios: benefit to the person being persuaded, a win-win benefit to the persuader and the persuaded, or a mutual benefit for the persuaded person and a third party. All of these outcomes involve a positive result for the person being persuaded. Sometimes others benefit, sometimes not. There is no situation in which only the persuader benefits, however. Dark persuasion has a very different set of outcomes. The persuader always benefits, either directly or through exercising their distorted need for control and influence. The person being persuaded goes against their own self-interest and does not benefit from being persuaded. Finally, the most skilled dark persuaders are able to not only harm their victim and benefit themselves, but also harm others in the process.
All right, let me jump in here.
Let's take the example of a dark persuader who talks someone into committing suicide so the persuader can.
Let me tell you something. This goes back to what I tell you all the time, okay? You have to look at both sides. Read books, like go to this whole page, okay? Go to the website. I wish I could be sponsored to even show y'all this website. But listen to me when I tell you this. All right? And what I'm telling you is you have to listen to ways to use dark psychology on people and ways to not have dark psychology put upon you through people. Do you get what I'm saying? What am I saying here? This is what I've learned. Because it's still happening. This same person is still doing it. The way dark persuasion can happen if you don't put yourself to be in a dark persuasive situation. Sex, pillow talk is dark persuasion. Somebody contacting you at night, talking to you only at night is dark persuasion. A friend coming to your home is dark persuasion. Once somebody is in your space, when somebody's in your physical space, i.e., physical space or in your ear, write that down. Your physical space or in your ear. That is where dark persuasion can happen. That's why you can get more irritated when people are on the phone in your ear. I don't like people in my ear. That's why I talk on a speaker. That's why smart people talk on a speaker. No one is allowed to get any response to me after a certain time in my fucking inbox. That's dark persuasion. Don't ask me how I'm doing. Don't fucking worry. Don't worry about how the fuck I'm doing. That's dark persuasion. Because in their mind, there's going to be a moment where you're going to crack. In their mind, is going to be a moment. Being with somebody, smoking and drinking with them, being close to them, that's dark persuasion. All these studies, these videos, suck dick too, this, that, and the third. You can see she high out her mind. Something's not right. And she probably don't even know she's being recorded. Dark persuasion. And rape. Right? Dark persuasion. But these are the ways that you can prevent yourself from being in that type of way. Anybody who speaks from a certain type of tone and always say slick ass shit, that's a person that is that's a dark persuasive person. I need you to understand, when you tune in to V314 Bad Bitch Craft Radio, I'm not going to coddle you. All right? We don't do that here. We're not going to sit here and say this is a demon, this is a devil, this is this. We're not going to do all that. If you got a devil in your life, there's a devil in you, motherfucker. And I'm here to tell you how to look at the people that you have in your life, to look at what's being reflected to you, because you are the universe and you attract who you are. So if you are attracting manipulative, conniving, sneaky motherfuckers, you are manipulative, conniving, sneaky motherfucker. And I need you to face the mirror right now, or look in your fucking TV that's turned off, or look at your reflection, something, wherever you can look at your reflection. If you're in your car right now, look at that and admit that to yourself. Okay? Let's go.
Profit from an insurance policy. Not only has the persuader gained financially, but the victim has lost their life and also hurt anyone who knew or cared about them. Unmasking the dark persuaders. So who exactly is using these dark methods of persuasion? The main characteristic of a dark persuader is either an indifference toward or inability to care about how persuasion impacts others. Such people are either totally narcissistic and see their own needs as far more important than others' needs, or sociopathic and unable to even grasp the concept of someone else's emotions. You'll often find dark persuasion in a relationship. 1. Or, in the worst-case scenario, both partners are inclined toward darkly persuading the other. If such attempts are persistent and enduring, the relationship can be considered psychologically abusive. Some examples of relationship dark persuasion include stopping the other partner from taking new job opportunities or pursuing personal leisure.
Let me tell you about a dark persuasive situation. The current partner I have here, let's just say I saw them on another app, okay? And I was like, hey, motherfucker, I was supposed to meet da. And the friend said, don't say nothing to her. I'm like, hell no, I'm saying something to her. And I sent her ass a message. And that's the person I'm with to this day. And this is one of the most emotionally grounding relationships I could have in my life. Do you see what happened there? Because you have to be careful. People may just say shit to you just to test you, just to see what you will do. Just to see, they do. You have to understand about, this is the part about dark persuasion in chapter 2, right? People do it in pieces. What can I do to move you? What can I say? Can I tell you not to do that? And are you going to listen? If I tell you no, are you going to say yes? Now, how can I mind flip you to say yes? How can I mind flip you to say yes when you know you don't want to say no type shit? You get what I'm saying? You have to look at that part of it. So that's another way with dark persuasion. But the main thing you need to understand, how does this happen to you? Excuse me, talking too loud. Your emotions have to already be involved with the person. There already has to be those 3 things that was mentioned in the beginning, which is sympathy, guilt, and obligation. Sympathy, guilt, and obligation. I had a friend, I always picked up the phone. Even if I was tired or didn't want to, I picked up that phone. No matter how I felt. That was obligation. You see what I'm saying? There's other people I did the same thing with. That was obligation. It's a lot of things in my life that I did. Obligation. But that's how the dark persuader can do that.
The dark persuader will convince the victim that they are acting for the good of the relationship. In reality, the victim is simply hurting both themselves and the relationship. The relationship is harmed as the dark persuader gains increasing certainty at being able to manipulate their victims. Dark persuasion tactics. So how exactly do dark persuaders carry out their wishes?
Yes, let's go.
Some people might question the notion that such a harmful thing as dark persuasion actually occurs. They would be wrong. The reason it can be executed is because of the skill of the persuaders. They are experts in disguising the nature of what is occurring. These are their tactics. The long con. The long con is a type of slow, drawn-out method of persuasion.
Yes.
Some of the main reasons people are able...
What I told you. That's what I told you. It's the long con. They work slow. Why do these women, we were friends for a long time before we were lovers, but we know what friends are. When you're friends with somebody, friends hang around with other friends who hang out with friends. When you're friends with somebody, your friend goes and date other people. You wouldn't, even if y'all don't remain single and be friends. That's the long con. The long con is telling women, men and women are not friends. And you have a whole series by Exotical United where she breaks that shit down beautiful. Man, she breaks it down. Go watch that whole series. She breaks that shit down beautiful. If you have a daughter, send that shit to your daughter. Okay? That is one of the biggest long cons. And women don't even see it.
Able to resist persuasion include a feeling that they are being pressured, or a lack of trust or rapport with the person who is seeking to persuade them. The long con is able to overcome both these problems. The long con involves the dark persuader taking their time to earn their victim's trust. They will carefully befriend their victim and make sure the victim likes and trusts them. This is usually achieved by excessive, artificial rapport building, and other ways of increasing comfort levels. As soon as the victim has been sufficiently readied psychologically, the persuader begins their attempts. These usually start with some insincere positive persuasion. The persuader will lead their victim into making some choices or carrying out some actions that are actually for their own benefit.
Right.
This has a twofold purpose. First, the victim becomes accustomed to being persuaded by their persuader. Second, the victim makes a mental association between the persuasion and a positive outcome. So how is the long con executed? Let's take an example victim, a recently widowed lady, vulnerable due to age and bereavement.
Right.
Following her loss, she is befriended by a man, perhaps a relative, perhaps a member of her church.
Rule number 1, V314, Bad Bitch Craft Radio, don't owe nobody the fucking truth. When you go out here, I don't give a fuck if you see that motherfucker for the past 5 years of your motherfucking life. That motherfucker's a stranger. And you don't owe that motherfucker the truth. I don't give a fuck what they observe. I don't give a fuck what they tell you. You don't tell them the motherfucking truth. And if you get caught in a lie and they try to call you out, you let them know you are a stranger. I don't owe you the truth. Why do you be mean? Why do you carry on this type of behavior? It's a sharpness about it. It's, as a woman, you have to be ruthless. Okay? Like I said with the neighbor, he come in front of this door again with some bullshit. He's going to be sitting outside that door. See, I got up and got him out of there. I did what I did with him because I fussed and did whatever. I wanted him to go away, and I didn't want him in front of my house no more. Okay? And I even heard the son today, and I was just like, if I come out this door, it ain't going, whatever come out my mouth ain't gonna come out right. It's gonna come out real fucked up. So let me just go to sleep. Okay? But the point I'm making is, I need you to put that in your head. Everybody's a motherfucking liar. This is the dark psychology you're going to be doing as you learn this with me. And I live this. Please don't think that I'm just talking shit. I'm not like these other bitches online. I really am. I'm really not. I live this. You ought to be mean. Okay? You ought to put meanness down in the core of your spirit. Everybody's a motherfucking liar. You understand me? Everybody's a motherfucking liar. I need to pull up Littlefinger for y'all. Everybody's a goddamn stranger. You understand me? And you don't owe a stranger or no one the motherfucking truth. You don't owe nobody the motherfucking truth. Not even your own children. Not even your own mother and father. You owe nobody the truth. And I want you to hold on to that every fucking day. I want you to practice that every motherfucking day. Just tell a lie. How many you got kids? No. And say it rude as fuck. No. You married? Hell no. You need to do some NPL. Put some emphasis in those words. Hell no. You want some more kids? Hell no. I want you to stop, pause, and be like, hell no. Put some energy in that shit. You're married? Hell fucking no. I need you to do that for me. Can you do that? I want you to learn how to practice dark psychology. Because believe it or not, this type of energy, what people are going to do, the manipulator is going to giggle because you're going to make them so fucking uncomfortable. When somebody sees that you lied to them and you say you a stranger and I don't owe you the truth, they might just giggle because you made them uncomfortable. Or they might try to come back at you, but you got to be sharp. I don't owe you the truth. You can walk away. But don't put yourself in a dangerous, compromising situation either.
He shows immense kindness and patience with her, so over time, her guard drops when she's around him.
Yep.
This man then carries out small acts of
Titles, bestie, friend. Be careful of people who want to title you so quick. You my bae, boo. Get the fuck away from people like that. Yo, what's wrong with you? I don't even know you and you want to give me all these motherfucking titles. Careful with that. Work bestie. That's NPL. Be careful.
positive persuasion, such as advising her of a better bank account or a way to reduce her monthly bills. The victim appreciates these efforts and trusts his advice. The man then darkly persuades her to let him invest some of her money. Trustingly, she obliges. The man of course takes everything he can from her. If he is skilled, she will end up feeling as though he genuinely tried to help her, and just had bad luck. Such is the depth of dark persuasion. Graduality. When people hear about acts of dark persuasion, such as individuals being talked into suicide or murder, it seems unbelievable. Who would do such a thing?
Why can't you stay organized? I've experienced this myself, and it's called chronic impulse control, where you prioritize short-term actions like...
But this right here, this one right here, I think
People fail to realize that dark persuasion isn't always a big, sudden request out of nowhere.
yes.
Dark persuasion should instead be understood as a staircase.
You don't put yourself in situations to question all these titles of friends are just labels for trust. Why do that? Like, why do we even feel a need to do that as humans? Because that's a part of the game. What up, Underhill? Shout out to you. It was something he was saying. The long con. Let me keep it on this. Write that down, y'all. The long con. You have to be mindful of how people want to talk to you. This is why I'm mean. I don't allow people to talk to me like, you have to know yourself, right? I know how I walk, I know how I talk, I know how I move. I know how quiet I am. I know who I'm cool with. I know my voice. I know how my voice gets when I like people. I know how my voice is when I don't like people. See, I know myself. Therefore, I know when someone is about to approach. I know when someone is curious about me energetically. I know when someone doesn't like me. I do it all the time, but you have to get to that point. The biggest con in life, the biggest long con in life is relationships, any type of relationship. This is coming from a Libra. Any type of relationship is the long con in your life. Any type of friendship or emotionally involved relationship is the long con. Any type of friendship, anything with that ship word is in it, is a long motherfucking con. I need you to understand that. It's a long con. And if you do it through an online parasocial relationship, ooh, that's the worst kind of long con. Just want you to know that.
Persuader will make the victim take one step at a time.
Yes.
This doesn't seem like a big deal.
Yes.
Before they know it,
And then throw it in your face. We've been friends for this many years. And put it this many years. You've been my friend for this many years. Yeah.
they are a long way down, and the persuader isn't going to let them back up. So how would graduality look in real life? Let's take the example of a psychopathic criminal who wished to make others commit crimes for them. If you can't imagine such a person, think of gang bosses, cult leaders, or Charles Manson. This psychopathic criminal wouldn't begin by asking a person to murder. Far from it. They might start by carrying out a little petty crime or hiding a weapon for their persuader. No big deal. Over time, though, the acts the manipulator persuades their victim to commit become increasingly severe. The persuader also has the unseen leverage of being able to hold the smaller misdeeds over the victim. Before they know it, the victim has a feeling of being in too deep. They can easily be persuaded to carry out even the most shocking crimes, because in their minds, they have no other choice. Dark persuaders are experts at using graduality to increase the severity of their persuasion over time. They know that their victims would never jump across a canyon. So, instead, the persuaders build them a bridge, bit by bit. Masking true intentions. There are several ways persuaders are able to use dark psychological principles to get what they want. Disguising the true desires of the manipulator is an important step in a successful dark persuasion. The best persuaders can use this approach in different ways depending on their victim and circumstance. One dark psychological principle used by the best persuaders is the knowledge that many people find it difficult to refuse 2 requests in a row. Let's say a manipulative person wants to extract $200 from their victim, which they have no intention of repaying. The persuader may begin by explaining why they need a loan for $1,000 and detailing the serious and severe consequences that will happen if they don't borrow it. The victim may feel some form of compassion or guilt.
Don't do it one time. That's why I fucked up. When that motherfucker was out there on the ground, I should have let him be on the ground. Because where I got in that situation was having some kind of sympathy for this motherfucker deteriorating. Where that got me is I didn't want it on my conscience that that motherfucker die in front of my house, which is a little bit selfishness, but it's guilt at the same time. I don't want that shit on my conscience. And I didn't want on my conscience that something would happen to this man. So then it became the denied fucking shut down obligation where I realized I'm not obligated to this motherfucker. This is something that just literally happened in my personal life for the past fucking year. Not year, excuse me, the past few weeks. 2 weeks exactly. I became a victim. But I recognized it. In the moment I recognized it, called the landlord for, first of all, said something to the son first. Because once I said something to the son, it got worse. I said, oh, okay, so this is what we playing? And then I said something to the landlord, right? And then I heard, and then you see what I'm saying? You have to pay attention to how it works. You become people's victim. Listen, let me tell you something. Somebody's your friend right now. You are their victim. You're their victim for something. I know it sounds fucked up, right? It's like, goddamn, I don't want to have a victim mentality. Let me fucking tell you, you are their victim. Best believe they motherfucking need something. Best believe something go down. You the one that they gonna motherfucking call on. You are their victim. How well do you really know the people who you call friends? We ain't studying this shit for no reason. Let's go.
Guilt toward the persuader and wish they could help. However, they explain that $1,000 is more than they can afford to lend. The persuader will then lessen their request to the original sum of $200 that they actually wanted. They will have an emotional reason, such as the $200 at least keeping the lights switched on for another few weeks.
That's right.
Your hair deserves a hot tool finish without the hot tool damage.
I'm about to
Meet
show you
the
this
all-new
clip.
Shark Flex Fusion Straight, the
I'm about to
luxury
show you
multi.
this clip before we get into the friend borrowing money. First of all, I have one friend, cool as fuck, okay? I was like, look, I would dead ass buy you VIP tickets to see this person. And they was like, I gotta go to work. Okay? That is I'm cool enough with that person that I will fucking buy them tickets. Even if them bitches was $200 for them to go VIP. I would have did that on my own without expecting nothing from that person. But that's me. I got a heart like that. I can do stuff like that for someone like that. But everybody won't get that from me. You get what I'm saying? It's only, I don't let nobody borrow money. If I give you money, that's it. You ain't even gotta because if you're gonna have to pay me back, because anybody who knows, I'm a money bitch. At work, I'm a money bitch. I always pull out that motherfucking guapo. Like, look. And I pay people back. Just like the old man Mike, I gotta give him his $2 back. I don't play, I pay back. And I can tell he don't give a fuck about those $2, but I will pay him back his $2 because that's how I am. But let's get to it. Let me just show y'all this clip by the homie. Okay? And that bitch right there, who we all love, right? Motherfucking Stanza, the ones that those zealot divestors try to tell you that you a mammy because you watch Game of Thrones when it ain't even that many black people that even watch this fucking shit. Let's go. Look at this scene. Pay attention.
They're right, I'm not.
Listen, this is young, naive Sansa. I think this is when she met that horrible motherfucker. Forgot his name.
Condolences. They're right, I'm not good enough for him.
You shouldn't say that. You'll be good enough for many things. He'll still enjoy beating you. And now that you're a woman, he'll be able to enjoy you in other ways as well.
But if he's not marrying me...
He'll let you go home. Joffrey's not the sort of boy who gives away his toys. You have a tender heart. Just like your mother did at your age. I can see so much.
Just so you know, Littlefinger was in love with Sansa's mother. I forgot her name. Carolyn? Something like that. Littlefinger was in love. This man right here was in love with Sansa's mother. And so he was trying to give Sansa life lessons. He's a con man because he's the son. Once again, the foster care shit. He's a child of a whore, a woman who was a whore in a brothel. Now he's the son that runs a brothel. Do you see what I'm saying? Because he was also a sex slave as well. So this is his background. Okay. So anybody who comes from that street life shit, incredible master manipulators, because that's how they have to survive. Let's go.
And heart. Just like your mother did at your age.
You had a tender heart.
So much of her in you.
Be mindful of people. That's what I want to tell you. Be mindful of people that want to tell you how good you are, how good your heart is. You know what I'm saying? Caitlin, thank you. Caitlin, I knew it was Cat something. I knew it was Carolyn. I knew it was a C. Caitlin. Yeah, I like that name. And when someone is telling you this, that's the sign of a manipulator. Okay. Oh, you have a good heart. You have such you have patience, and you gotta be quick to tell a motherfucker, no, I don't. Oh, you mad cool. No, I'm not. You understand what I'm saying? Nah, I'm really not mad cool. And I really don't have a good heart. I'm very fucking selfish. Don't let me fool you. And again, all they're gonna do is giggle. But pay attention. This is just pay attention.
She was like a sister to me.
Why? Oh, let me talk about your mama. Cause that's your mother. Cause I know that she's gone. I know you miss her. So now I'm going to play on your emotional string. So in that moment, he played on her. And she's a young girl too. She's like a teenage age, 14, 15 years old. He's playing on her emotional strings. Okay? Don't let people pull your emotional strings. Let's go. This is the long way. The long kind.
For her sake, I'll help get you home.
King's Landing is my home now.
Look around you. We're all liars here.
We're all liars here. So who did, if somebody tell you we're all liars here, that means they're telling you that they're a liar. Anytime anyone is telling you something that someone else has said, they are telling you what someone else has said. So they're telling you what they're saying to you. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's why I said, and I want y'all to listen to me. If someone wants to tell me, because that's what I told that chick. I said, well, if she's saying that and y'all were in the chat room with her while she was saying it, y'all said it too. And they got real quiet. And then that's when she made the comment and was like, she doesn't respect you. I said, you either. But in that moment, even if they wanted to argue and be angry, they couldn't. They had to make sure things was going to go. They wanted to wait. And I gave that message, but I was talking to them too. And I'm sure they knew that. I feel like they caught on later to what I did. That's what my intuition tell me. Like they caught on later because one of them don't even want to fuck with me because she even tried to have somebody come and give me a reading. You got to understand that's how the game goes in life. That's the dance of the mind. You get what I'm saying? Can I tell y'all something about me? I don't believe nothing nobody tell me about their past. If someone was molested, if someone was raped, if someone was like, oh, I had to do this as a kid, and I don't believe none of it. Because my Scorpio rising understands that there are things that are very personal to people's lives, and they're not so open to talk about it so easily. It's one thing to talk about, like myself, drug addict family members. I talk about that. I talked to my coworker about that. Okay. But I also know that she herself was on that stuff. You see? So these are not things that are anything I can't not talk about. But I don't trust people. I was raped. I was molested. I was this. What the fuck are you trying to get out of me by telling me this story? And how many times have you told this story? And how many ways have you told this story? There are certain things that people are not going to tell you, people. There's some things that just very, very, very personal that the only people that's going to know what has happened to you is someone in your own family. I want y'all to write that down too. How personal are they getting with you? What are they sharing? I want you to take away the astrology and the numerology of everything. I want you to get into the dark psychology. We're going to get practical and grounded here. Let all that go. What are they sharing with me? What's the very first conversation we had? What do you have to dissect it all to understand? What are they lying about? What the fuck are they? Everybody's lying. What are they lying about? I had somebody, our first introduction and conversation, they wanted to know what my beliefs in spirituality is, my religion. I said, I don't have none. I said, I'm spiritual. And I knew they was texting somebody the whole time they was talking to me. I even spelled one of the words out. I could tell they even tuned me out. Because the first thing they wanted to do to make sure was to badmouth me. That's the first thing they wanted to do. They wanted to make sure to do that. Why would they do that to me? Because they wanted control over the person that I'm with. You got to pay attention to shit like that. But that's a private conversation I got to go behind the wall with, baby.
And every one of us is better than you.
See that shit? Listen to that quote.
We're all liars here.
We're all liars here. Write that down.
And every one of us is better than you.
And every one of us is better than you. A lot of us lived longer, seen more, heard more, know more than you. And I'm talking about myself. Cause I'm Littlefinger. I'm the son of a whore. I've been sold as a sex slave myself. I done seen people's nasty debauchery because I'm in the world of sex and fantasy. I know everybody's secret because I'm in the world of sex and fantasy. And I know what's about to happen to you because I done seen what happens to women like you plenty of time as long as I've been on this motherfucking planet. Or as long as I've been existing. What will make you people's victim? What is about you that comes off a certain type of way? What is it in your face? Study your face in the mirror. What do you look at? What is your facial expressions? What do you get afraid of? Are you afraid of water bugs like me or any type of goddamn bugs that look weird? Look at the things about yourself, and these are the things that people can use against you. Listen to what people say to you, what they believe that you are when they talk to you. Well, I just think you're such a good, kind-hearted person. Yeah, what the fuck this person want? Why they think I'm so good and kind-hearted? You have to play it. It's called this right here. Where's it at? The long con. All right, we're going to get back to the book.
The victim feels too awkward and unable to refuse the second request.
See that?
The persuader gets their $200 as originally intended, and the victim will not know what has taken place. Reverse psychology, of a type, is another way to mask true intentions during the course of persuasion. Some people have a personality known as a boomerang. This means they will refuse to go in the direction they are thrown, and instead, veer off in the opposite direction. If a dark persuader knows someone is a boomerang type, then they have identified a key weakness. Let's take, for example, a persuader whose friend is attempting to win over a certain girl. The persuader knows that the friend will use this girl and hurt her. The girl is torn between the malicious friend and an innocent third party. The persuader will deftly steer the girl in the direction of the guy who will actually be good for her, knowing that she will go against this and choose the harmful friend. Leading questions. As anyone who has ever encountered a skilled salesman will know, verbal persuasion can be very impactful when deployed in a careful and calibrated way. One of the most powerful techniques in the verbal arsenal of a dark persuader is the use of leading questions. These are questions intended to trigger a particular response in their victim. For example, a leading persuader may ask their target something like, "So how bad do you think those people are?" The question implies that the people he is asking about are definitely bad to one extent or the other. This contrasts with the non-leading question of, "How do you feel about those people?" Dark persuaders use leading questions, such as those described above, in a very careful way. Any dark persuader with a little experience is well aware of the fact that, if the victim begins to get the sense they are being led, they will resist and become less easily persuaded. If the persuader begins to sense the victim is aware of what is happening, they will switch tactics immediately, and only return to the leading questions after the victim has calmed down and they have regained their influential state. The law of state transference. State is a concept that refers to the general mood a person is in. If someone is aligned in their thoughts, words, and deeds, then this is an example of a strong, congruent state. The law of state transference involves the concept of the person who holds the balance of power in any given situation being able to transfer their emotional state onto the person they are interacting with. This
Meet Dalpad's modern business.
This is a powerful concept when used by a dark persuader. If someone is trying to carry out persuasion, and is aware of the law of state transference, there is a particular technique they can use to influence the level of control they hold over their target. The technique is as follows. Initially, the influencer will force their own state to match the natural state of their target. If the target is sad, and talking slowly, the influencer will force their own state into the same format. By doing so, they create a rapport on a deep, subconscious level with their target. After a state match has been carried out, the influencer will begin to subtly alter their own state to assess how much compliance they have from their victim. For example, the persuader may slightly speed up their tone of voice to judge whether their victim will match their own pace. If the victim shows signs of compliance, then this is a clear indication that the influencer has reached the hook point. Once the hook point has been reached, the influencer will change their own state to the one they wish their victim to have. This could be happy and positive or angry and indignant, depending upon which state will best serve the influencer's aims at the time. This technique shows the impact of subconscious cues on the success or failure of any given persuasion. Chapter 3. Undetected mind control. Not all mind control is undetected. A mind is a person's sanctuary. No matter what else may be lost to others, a human mind is its owner's and owner's alone. Right. Wrong. People like to think they are fully in control of their own thoughts and actions. That their mind is as much under their own control as their right hand is. But is this really the case? When you are dreaming, are you in careful control of your dreams? If you can't concentrate, are you choosing your distracting thoughts? Our minds are actually incredibly susceptible to influence and being controlled. Think about when you are watching a horror movie. Your mind and emotions are being led and influenced by the music, lighting, and choice of camera shot. Even though you know you are watching a movie, your brain still responds to the prompts it is given. If the brain can be influenced so strongly by something we have chosen and are aware of, how strong would the influence be of a skilled, dark, psychological manipulator? Undetected mind control is the most deadly type of mind control in existence. If someone is aware that their mind is being influenced, then they can object mentally, verbally, or physically. They can avoid contact with the controlling person or situation. A lot of people would run at the first sign of a dangerous person trying to get inside their brain and take it over. If their mind controller is undetected, like a stealth bomber, then it is not possible for the victim to put their defenses up in time. There are two types of tactics for taking over a person's mind undetected: interpersonal interactions, and the use of media. Traditionally, media mind control was only possible for large companies, and individual mind controllers were left to interpersonal mind control only. Nowadays, this is no longer the case. Laptops and smartphones have placed media mind control powers directly into the hands of the coldest manipulators walking the earth. Before we learn about the specific tactics used in the pursuit of undetected mind control, we must learn about the manipulative people who use such tactics. Like all dark psychological manipulators, undetected mind controllers have the desire to influence others, usually for their own benefit. Undetected mind controllers are often more cowardly and logical than other manipulators, however. Unlike impulsive psychopaths, undetected mind controllers are likely to only act after careful consideration. To control someone's mind in a way that remains undetected.
This is a part I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to be talking for a little bit now. We're going to stop right here. We had 35 minutes and 17. Okay, so we went a little bit into the book. Oh, damn, this book is 3 hours. I thought this one was 1 hour. Okay, I was not right. Okay, I guess it was 202 that was 1 hour. Okay, let me get into something. I'm going to go ahead and keep this picture up. And we're going to just go ahead and talk. I want to say something here. The reason that I encourage you all to have a notebook like this, taking notes like this, and I encourage you all to have a burn book that you keep at home, is because I want you all to play chess in your life. Write down people, co-worker, like have one page or whatever pages, co-worker situation, right? Draw out the chessboard, you know what I'm saying? And understand the chess pieces, because we're going to get into that too. Who plays these positions at your job? What position do you play in on the chessboard on the other side? You feel what I'm saying? I want you to just start mind mapping people. Because believe it or not, Catfish is a beautiful show. There was one catfish, a lovely catfish. He had a whole Google document of all the women's name and everything he remembered from those women. And I remember a Pisces woman, a Pisces lesbian woman, told me how she wrote down in a book everybody's name and information and all kind of shit about all these different kind of people that she knew. I want you to do the same fucking thing. This is your dark psychology over here with me, the writer. Because I'm telling you, as you sit down with this shit, it's going to open up things for you. This is how I figured out who was beneficial to me in my life and who wasn't inside my journal. What do I benefit from this person? What do I benefit from this person? What do I benefit from this person? But now you're in a point where you need to start seeing the dark psychology of the people around you and how you can be used and how they're using you. Now it's time for you to step it up in your journaling and say, well, what's going on in my relationship? What's going on around the person in my relationship? What am I showing to the person in my relationship? You have to start dissecting things in that type of way. And I promise you, it will give you the answers that you need. And you will find the answers that you need. You can't be around in this life and isolate yourself. Manly P. Hall talked about this. A lot of scholars talked about this, but Manly P. Hall talked about this. Because you have to still experience. I'm speaking this from experience myself. You have to still go out here and experience life. You could still get got. If you don't experience people, if you don't go outside, not just social media shit, really go outside and experience people, then you don't know how you're going to get got. It's like the one time I had a Naruto show and this guy wanted to talk to me about Naruto. And I'm just like, at this point in my life, don't try to talk to me about anime. If we're not having a full conversation about fucking anime, like an actual show, characters and shit, don't fucking talk to me about anime. If you don't watch goddamn something as simple as Naruto, it's like, listen, bro, Naruto is on Netflix. Just go watch it on Netflix and walk away. Because I have, when I tell you I don't want to get engaged in conversations, like one dude come around me talking about some motherfucking Modelo. I don't drink Modelo. I had to look him in his face. I don't drink Modelo. What the fuck is that bullshit? Get the fuck out of here with this shit. Trying to convince me to put some shit in my cart that I don't drink. So you gotta understand that it be little shit like that. I've experienced things where people have given me stuff that I have not asked for, and I push it to the side and they get offended. It's like, what are you offended for? I didn't ask for this. So you have to know how to go out in this world and interact and navigate with people in order to understand what I'm talking about. Don't try to give me something I ain't asked for. My mother's like that. She will curse you the fuck out. If she tell you to bring her a green fucking drink, you better not bring a motherfucking orange drink. Because she gonna curse you the fuck out and tell you, I told you to bring me green. She's gonna humiliate you. My mother does that. And I understand why she do that shit. Don't fucking bring me shit that I ain't fucking asked for. You give me what I asked for. That's being in your power. Because a manipulator has to be checked. Because their thing is, who's going to check me? That's what they say. Who's going to check me? They say that all the time. Now, let's get a little bit further into this, right? Sansa is paying attention to him more than what, she's information, a keeper of sins. She knows the game, but doesn't have power yet. Right. I love the way you wrote that. Okay. This was Sansa's initiation to how fucked up people were in this world. Sansa was already a very powerful woman, and unfortunately, what the fuck was his name with the eyes, bro? From the Bolton family. Reese Bolton? Yeah. When she went through that horrific situation with Reese, and fucking Reek couldn't even help her. He broke down crying watching her go through that shit. That was when Sansa really, unfortunately, that's when she woke up and came into her power in life and waking up and got sharper. Because she was already sharp, but that right there, that breakdown, it didn't break her down though. That's the thing. It didn't break her down. Because you realize how sharp she got? She became sharp like her mother. It's just that her mother had those sons and she was falling behind her sons, you know? About that time, y'all. Wearing a thin one. So let's keep going. Now we learned about covert emotional manipulation. We learned about this one right here. We're going to go back into our lessons, right? Sympathy, guilt, and obligation. That's number one. Okay, make sure y'all write that down. Sympathy, guilt, and obligation. Sympathy plus guilt equals obligation. So how do people try to get your sympathy, right? How do people's sympathy make you feel guilty which then makes you feel obligated, right? That's how we got that going, right? So let's give an example. I gave myself as an example, right? I said the sympathy was that the neighbor is going through dementia or Alzheimer's. I expressed this sympathy to the son. And I expressed that you might need to get your damn daddy a goddamn nurse. So then the neighbor, through the sympathy and the guilt of, I don't want it on my conscience that something happens to this motherfucker. Here I am, knocks on the door, and this motherfucker need this motherfucker need that. This motherfucker suddenly can't put on a shirt, jacket, belt, all kind of shit. And then I realized I'm not obligated to none of this shit. The first time was the test. Actually, it was before that was the test. You have to pay attention to that capacity. Love bombing and flattery. The neighbor has given me a corona, I think around New Year's or some shit. Okay? That's flattery. That's love bombing. You see, that's where I fucked up. You see, you got to pay attention. Like, I got my corona though because I wanted a corona. I got that bitch for free. I even asked for water. You see what I'm saying? He had that too. I'm very leery about water because, water holds energy and shit, but I got water too. Covert emotional manipulation. The covert emotional manipulation is, I'm an old man. You see that my son come and get, you see my son come and help me. You don't really know what's going on, but I can make it seem like something else is there. I can act like this old man that don't know what's going on or what I'm doing. That old man could be going somewhere to fuck a goddamn sugar baby. Or get fucked up the ass. I don't fucking know where he going at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's a grown ass man. See, convert emotional manipulation. Oh, your dad's leaving at 3 in the morning, knocking on my door and this and that. Got to be careful. Reality denial. Reality denial is, in this situation, I may be distorted by the fact that this is an old man and I see the family and I see all this stuff without facing the fact that this is a grown ass fucking man. I'm not your maid. I'm not your nurse. I'm not the help. I'm not your slave. I don't give a fuck. See how that worked? This is how the long con worked. Because this has been my neighbor for a little bit now. And this person probably has been doing this or has been playing this game to somebody else. So when you begin to pay attention by not denying the reality that you ain't obligated to nobody, fuck sympathy, fuck guilt, and damn sure fuck obligation. That's a grown ass man over there. That's an old grown ass man. They done live life longer than me. So they know what the fuck they doing. You know how to put on a belt. You know how to put on your jacket. And if this motherfucker got dementia, would the family not know this motherfucker got dementia? So the family could be looking at me as somebody who cares because it done started happening after I opened my mouth as that's going to help. I ain't helping with shit. That's the reality to now. It's that right there. Let's go back to it. The long con. This been my neighbor for a while. He just started doing this shit the top of the year. That is my real life example of dark manipulation in my motherfucking life. And I'm telling you this. Okay? So you can start paying attention to the dark manipulation in your life. See, Sansa, quoted right here by Underhill, she is an information gatherer, a keeper of sins. She knows the game but doesn't have power yet. So by knowing the game of dark psychology, you are walking into a type of power. By having this notebook that I encourage you to write these notes down and write down your personal life and make a burn book that you never let leave the house, write like nobody will ever read it until you are no longer here. and you write these things down, I'm teaching you to walk into your power. I'm teaching you how to heal yourself and build a very strong sense of self-reflection. I admit to my narcissism and my selfishness, and so does my partner. I even said to her, I said, why are you with somebody who is the way I am? Shouldn't you be with somebody who, is a little bit more open-minded and talkative? And she's like, nah, I like you because the way I like you. But I'm not stupid. I know why. She wants me all to herself. It's a matter of you are so fucked up to other people, unless you're pretending. But when you're with me, you're not pretending. Everything is real with me and you, and I get to see the real you. Everyone else gets to see this very mean person, this pretender. See, that's why she likes it. But that's the dynamic of our relationship. We have that little, I guess, crazy psychotic thing going on between us that I absolutely love. And we can admit to our narcissism together. We can admit to our anxious attachment and our avoidant attachment that we have with each other. But that's just my relationship with the person that I'm with. And that's just an example. Okay? So, with that being said, you write things down, because going into writing, you're going into darkness. What am I saying? In ancient times, used to take the feather and dip it into the black ink. Okay? Because that's what you do as a writer. You're going into the depths. You're going into the unknown. You're going into the occult. You're going into what is hidden or what seems to be hidden. That's the beauty of being a writer. Okay? And when you go into that, you're going to start feeling and writing and seeing things that you probably never paid attention to, that you were seeing about the people in your life or even about yourself. So when you take notes from dark psychology, because this is a full lesson, this is why I'm talking so much. We are going to really dissect this book on psychology, Dark Psychology 101. If you want answers to your life, this is still the Black Woman's Guide. If you want to be mentally and emotionally stronger in your life, this is the beginning. It's too many Black women, especially, going into these spaces with these Black males or any Black spaces at that. And what I'm finding is that they are falling victim in the lair of a lot of people. Okay? What am I saying? They're putting themselves in spaces that they need not be. They're getting into conversations that they shouldn't bother talking about. Pop the balloon. This is why I've divested you on this channel with all these niggas talking to you. This is why I don't date Black women. This is like all of this shit. Because what dark psychology is also teaching you is how to detect things, how to observe things, how to watch things. A woman once told me years ago, she said, your problem is you jump into stuff and you don't even know what the fuck is going on. You need to learn how to observe more. You need to learn how to just observe and watch and see what the fuck's going on before you jump in. And I took that in. I said, damn, that's right. I do that shit. Because I knew where I got that bullshit from. And that's what I'm telling you. You have to learn how to observe, analyze. That's my favorite word. Analysis, cross-examine, however you want to say it. But you're more so doing it for yourself. Because see, don't ever think manipulators don't know that they're manipulators. Don't ever think con people and con artists and fucked up people don't know that they're that way. Somebody that you don't know that knows them the closest knows this about them. And best believe whoever's married to them is the same thing that they are. Whoever's in a relationship with them is the same thing that they are. Don't ever separate the two. They're together for a fucking reason. They love each other for a fucking reason. I don't give a fuck if they're together for the wrong reasons. They're still telling you who they are. Another thing, as you write, take this shit serious for yourself. Take the time to participate. You can come in the back room with me. You can hide your identity. I do not give a fuck about who you are. I really don't. I just care about us having a discussion about this. You may sharing and asking questions or whatever have you, so we can get through this. Because some people are not aware. The fact that you are here right now, when you are aware, that is incredibly a great start. I don't take what I do for granted. I don't take what I've learned I don't take anything in life that I learned for granted. I embrace learning in books, knowledge, information. But this right here is needed for everybody. Because there's a big dark psychology that is happening on a consistent basis, not just online, but in your personal life. And I need you to navigate it very smart. Okay? Because I sit around and I watch and I observe and I listen. And I sit around and I realize people who are highly intuitive, and I can feel when somebody's watching me and I'm fucking watching them. They don't think I know that they watching me. I can see people, I can feel people energy towards me. Like, this person is watching me. I wonder why they watching me. But wait, that person is dating that person there. That's why you do the mind map. Who's connected to who? Who's in what position? What's your position at your job? Who all talks to each other? Who do you see be friends with? Who are you friends with? And who are they friends with? Who do they talk to that no one knows that they're cool with? You have to do this. Don't feel crazy. Don't feel psychotic. Don't feel weird. No. Smart people do this. And intellectuals do this. We're writers. We're observers. We're little scientists in our brains. And that's just how it goes with us. So don't feel no type of way about that. It is what it is. You heard? And I want you also to understand something else too as you navigate further. Can I open this now? Yeah. I'm gonna probably just pour my coffee in here. It's a big ass block of ice in here. I can't even drink from this shit. I kind of wish my coffee was still a little hot. If my coffee was still a little hot, the ice would have definitely melted. But yeah, this gingerbread coffee is so good, y'all. I swear. That's why I couldn't find my cup yesterday, because I didn't have it in my face. Anyway, let me get focused here. Take it serious. Okay? When you're watching something on TV, observe the dark psychology of what you see. I don't give a damn if it's a cartoon. Oh, definitely if it's an anime, definitely observe the dark psychology of what you see. You at work, observe the dark psychology at work. My job, I call them genius. You know why I call them fucking genius? I call them genius because they always doing something stupid. It ain't smart what they doing. It just feel like they just be taking us for a ride. But I don't take it personal. I get my check and I work. Shit, if you want to make the job longer, thank you. See, that's how I use it. Everybody else could talk about how you don't do overtime, this, that, and the third. I like money. I make that clear. I like money. I do. don't deny that. And I do want to do so I do want to do the overtime. It's just that I need to have the energy to do the overtime. But lately, I just been like, ugh, if I do overtime, I got to do that bitch for at least 2 to 3 days. I'm not trying to do no 1 day overtime. That's just how I feel. I need to know that overtime going to keep going. Another thing, you do the dark psychology in your life, don't get yourself tossed up in no shit. Let me tell you something. Nobody that's new to your job is new. Write that down. Nobody that's new to your job is new. What am I saying here? And keep this up because that was the last chapter we was on. We was on chapter 2, actually, right? Nobody at your job is new. Okay? When it comes to anything in life, anybody that's new to that job, you watch that motherfucker. All right? In the city, life be different because you don't know who helped them get it doesn't matter really. Who helped them get that job, who they know who's who. I got a job where I got family members there. Okay? Straight up friends of the family, all kind of shit at that job because I'm in a small town. But I need you to move smart. No new person that job is new. Pay attention to any new rookie motherfucker at that job, how they talk to you, how they start the conversation. People can use people to come into a job to infiltrate. It be that deep out here. You got to be smart. And you've seen the shows of Undercover Boss and shit like that, where they be talking to people and they find out shit and they be pissed off when they find out what they find out. You got to think like that with everyone. And when you a sharp cookie, as they say, no one's gonna fuck with you like that. I promise you. People are always gonna try you. People are always gonna test you. Don't ever think that you just that motherfucking untouchable. Don't ever think that. That's one thing. Rule number 1. Don't ever think that you're untouchable. Because remember what Littlefinger told her. There's people that are good at it, that are better than you at lying. Okay? You always keep that in mind. Someone is always better than me at lying. Someone is always better than me at lying. Always keep that in your mind. This is not weird. This is not psychotic. This is not crazy. This is intelligence. This is smart thinking. This is quick thinking. This is staying on your toes. Because it's wicked out here. I don't give a fuck how y'all want to take that. It's wicked out here, baby. All right? I got to go. All right? Because I got to go. It's been fun. We will continue this. I will keep that bookmarked. Make sure you keep that link. Make sure you keep that bookmark at 3517. I may push it back a little bit. Okay. And we are, let me go ahead and tag that for you inside of this. 3517. If somebody don't mind coming into the comments section, you know what I'm saying? I'll pay you. Whoever would like to work for me in the comment section, I'll drop you a Cash App and I'll just have you to just do some tagging for me in the bottom of the comment section. I whoever want to volunteer that job, but I'm actually going to pay you. See what I'm saying? So you ain't really volunteer. You drop me your Cash App, you know, for me. Okay. Why the fuck am I getting the phone? Who is this? Hold on. Hello? Hello? Anyway. Okay, hold on. All right, so I'm out of here. Like I said, it's not really volunteering. Like you off. I'm gonna pay you for it. So if you want to do that, hit me up on the radio, the page, the actual radio show page, which I'm dropping right now. Okay, thank you. Okay, cool. All right, so whoever want to volunteer, like I said, I drop you a Cash App. What I just need you to do is do some tagging for me in the comment section. It's that and the third. You know what I'm saying? I want you to participate in the chat room for me when I'm talking about certain things. You type it out, whatever, till I give me a little whiteboard app, whatever. I'll figure that out later. But I do have to go. So whoever that is, hit me up on this page, which is the Bad Bitch Craft Radio page. You have to click that link. send me a direct message and we'll talk about it. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll be back. We're going to continue this dark psychology study week for the Black Woman's Guide segment all together. I'm out of here. Everybody have a great day.